Smiley Day Geeks. Welcome back to the Geeksider Show. I'm Josh.
I'm Anna.
And in this video, we're going to be talking about Critical Role Campaign 3, Episode 16?
Yeah, I think it is 16.
Jeez. So, if you haven't seen it yet and you want to avoid any spoilers, skip this video and come back later because everything we say from this point forward is going to be a spoiler. First off, continuing the combat basically from the last session, although they did spend a whole lot of time talking in that room, like right before like they spent too much time talking in that room.
Yeah.
Matt gave them way more leeway than I would have given our party.
Yeah, you would have been like, all right, something's going to attack you all sasses.
I would have been like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right,
Yeah.
the monsters are in your room now.
Yes.
But I mean, they had ample time to kind of prepare, and that combat really could not have gone any better for them.
Oh my god. Yeah, they lucked out that Ashley / Fearne, because I don't think either one knew what they were doing, cast a daylight spell, and it was actually like, hey, I can't see, bam, and then just happened to be clutch.
Yeah.
Like that was absolutely an accident.
That won the fight right there.
Yeah.
Her first turn, she's and I was kind of rewatching, and I was looking at the chat. It was like MVP, like all the way down the chat, like towards the end of the fight, and she really was. That move was the move of it won the combat.
Yeah, like they would have had to run way earlier, and they would not have accomplished their goal if she had not cast that spell.
For sure. I feel so bad for Marisha because she rolled so bad in the last combat, which is just the precursor to this combat, and it continued. I mean, she got a couple of hits in here and there, but basically nah.
Yeah.
I feel so, and then it was so bad that at the end of the session, Ashton goes to her room and he's like, "You had a rough day, huh?"
That was a really good RP move, though.
It really was. Because, I mean, I know Marisha, was getting frustrated that her dice were just betraying her.
Yeah.
So,
I feel that. I feel that so much.
For sure. Yeah. Everybody's been there.
I always roll poorly. Like, almost every single session, I roll poorly. So I feel that on such a deep level, Marisha. I feel ya.
But I think how much of that was Ashton going to Laudna and being like, you had a rough day, but sometimes you just have a rough day and there's nothing to learn from it. And how much of that was Taliesin going, look, I know your dice betrayed you, but don't get too frustrated.
I think Taliesin was planning on having a conversation that was like, hey, this is a good RP moment for Ashton, because friends mean a lot to Ashton. As much as they want to deny having friends and doing the friend thing and the labels and shit, friends mean the world to them. So they saw that Laudna was having a rough time and they did something about it.
Yeah.
And, I mean, not very well, but they tried.
and I really loved that moment between them too, because Caduceus came out a little bit in Ashton, and we've talked about that before. How Ashton feels like an amalgam of Molly and Caduceus a little bit.
Yeah, it's what I feel is Ashton is pieces of Taliesin's previous characters that he didn't get to explore that he really wanted to.
Also, talking about the combat, there were 2 moments in that combat besides the Ashley or Fearne casting daylight that stand out to me as pinnacle moments of this campaign. The first one is another Fearne moment when she nat 20'd that dexterity saving throw and ended up on the ball.
Yeah.
And then just ran the ball out of the cavern. Absolutely fantastic moment. Let's take a look at it.
And go rolling through. I need you to make a dexterity saving.
Yeah, you do.
Okay, that's all right. Indiana Jones. Natural 20.
You full on leap in the air and kick off of it with your satyr hooves, and as it just rolls underneath.
Mountain goat.
You just kind of ride it out, rushing it through.
Let's go!
As you're just kind of, you're just kicking it along and actually maintaining the momentum. You actually got like a good rolling momentum to where you can keep it going with a natural 20. Fuck yeah, you can do that.
I'm gonna keep it going. Come on,
You
come
can
on,
like
come on.
off to the side, like Indiana Jones run away from it for a second before dodging off to the side as it rolls past with Fearne on top, and you're having to stay a little low from under it. But the rest of you watch as it is now dislodged and rushing off as many other shade creepers are starting to emerge from above and gather down the sides of the walls.
Oh god.
Cue.
The other moment is one that, to me, kind of rivals Jester's cupcake with the dust of the deliciousness with the hag from campaign 2, and that involves Orem with the rope.
Yeah.
I forget what the magic item's name is.
Yeah,
but
the self-tying rope
yeah,
or whatever.
he ties it around the scorpion tail of that creature and then throws the other end of the machinery and oh my god, it was amazing. Let's take a look.
One question is, there's a big wheel on the side of that. Is that going voo, 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 voo?
Oh, on this overside here?
Yeah.
That's, I'll say that's more of just the design of the mini that's there. There isn't like a large wheel that's on the side. There is a wheel in the front of it near where the controls are that kind of guides its direction.
Next to the wire.
Okay, I'm gonna try it anyway. I pull a rope out and go, I just bought this, and then I'm gonna run, I'm gonna spring up on the rock, and then spring up onto the drill, and then leap 10 feet in the air to get by her stinger, tie her up. And I command the rope to tie her stinger.
Ooh. Okay. The rope wraps around. Let me see if she can possibly shake it. Nope, not with a natural 3.
Yeah?
So as you leap in the air, at the impact, you can see kind of her glance over her shoulder, and as you toss the rope up and it attempts to wrap around, the back of her tail begins to retract. You see the stinger trying to pull in, but the rope catches into its barbs and is affixed to it.
And I land down on the drill and go, so sad about this. And I drop the end into the machinery.
Like a tire.
Suddenly, the rope begins to be pulled by the internal gears and mechanisms rapidly, and you watch as she, kind of not really noticing and caring, looks back towards the rest before, and you watch her being yanked back towards you.
Yeah! If I have any movement, I will dive to the side, but I might not. That was
I need you to make a dexterity save. This is rapid.
That is pretty good. That's a 17.
17. So you manage to dodge out of the way. You only take from the impact 2 points of bludgeoning damage as you dive off to try and catch your friends on that side. It will, as part of this, because you roll high enough, you do not fall prone at all. You catch yourself, it hurts your shins a little bit, but you watch as the tail is now pulled into the machine, and she is currently like screeching between the combination of sunlight still blaring down upon her and the tail being pulled into the machinery.
So cool.
That is so cool.
Fucking rad.
But I just bought the rope.
Worth every penny.
Yes, worth it.
Those two moments to me were my two favorite moments of this entire campaign.
Yes, like so far. Yeah, definitely. Like
In combat for sure,
Yeah,
but just overall.
in combat, absolutely. Those were both really, really like just awesome RP moments and flavorful and just yeah, they were great.
And what was interesting about the Fearne moment initially, that Matt was just going to have her like do a somersault over the ball. But I think it was Sam who's like, is she like on top of the ball? And Matt's like, yes. and that's awesome DMing right there. That's your player saying something, you clue into it and go, yep, we're going to do that.
Yeah,
because
you rolled
it's
a nat
awesome.
20. And
Because
that's
it's awesome.
Yes.
And
yeah.
that is a fantastic DM move
Yeah.
right there.
This combat session really kind of struck home to me how how Matt's style has changed. In campaign 1, it was very lax. The rules were
Well, they were loosey-goosey.
very loosey-goosey, just kind of guidelines. But then, like, people were hounding him about that's not how the rules written, blah, blah, blah. So campaign 2 was very strict. There was a lot of things that, like, almost all of campaign 1 wouldn't have flown in campaign 2. But, like, he was very, very strict on the rules as written, with maybe a couple of exceptions. Like, it's definitely more, it feels a lot more like a home game.
Yeah,
A group of friends playing at a table where the rules only matter in so much as we're all having fun. there's a lot of stuff that happened in this combat alone that would not have flown in campaign 2 that Matt just let go. And yeah, I think it's just after doing a whole campaign of being very, we're doing by the book because people keep getting on me. He's like, you know what? Fuck it. We're here to have fun. Let's have fun.
He's found a happy spot with this campaign.
Yes, it's a great medium of following the rules because you're streaming. You gotta follow the rules, but also maybe just fudging them a little bit occasionally if it works for the narrative. Specifically, this is what I am thinking of in this fight. Was there was a couple of times where they rolled, it hit, and they were like, "Oh, that was at level whatever." That would not have happened in campaign 2.
No.
Yeah, no. In fact, that happened a couple of times in campaign 2, and he made a fact of saying you have to call that before you find out if it hits, and not even a word. It was like, all right, sure, let's go.
They didn't kill the slug creature, and I want to talk about our last video when Matt described the creature with like spindly 10-foot long arms and legs. I thought the slug was like giving birth to something. I didn't realize that it was coming out and it was part of the slug.
Oh,
that's where I was like, is that the Nightmare King coming out of the slug? What is going on? I didn't catch that. So I thought it was like birthing something in front of them, and I was like, that's fucking disgusting and awesome, but I
caught it, but only because I'm obsessed with Alien, and that's the Alien Queen pulling out of her sack.
Yeah.
That's the description he was giving.
Yeah.
And it clicked immediately in my head.
It didn't click to me last session when Chetney was first in there and saw the slug on the wall and everything. I thought it was a slug giving birth to another creature. But I got it now, and that mini was amazing. And my heart sank a little bit when Matt knocked it over and broke the arm off. I was like, oh jeez.
Yeah.
I just got a mini in today that we're going to be using in one of our campaigns, and if I dropped it, I think I might cry. It's so beautiful. I can't wait to paint it and use it. Okay, anyway, one of the things, like the main thing that really surprised me in this episode was Travis.
Yes.
Travis in campaign 1, Grog going to brothels looking for his lady favors. Okay, that was a thing, but they never really RP'd that.
No.
We never saw Grog flirting with anybody. It was kind of, you go and you find your lady favors and blah blah. That's done. In campaign 2, Travis had a romantic moment or two with Avantika, or Travis Ford, which seemed to it definitely made Ford uncomfortable, and it seemed to make Travis a little uncomfortable, and he was definitely uncomfortable at the outset of the Ford Jester relationship.
Yeah, like through the whole thing, and like maybe that was just Ford's personality, and he's just awkward when it comes to romance, and that's how he was doing, and he just acted it so believably that we, as viewers, were like, "Ooh, Travis really doesn't like to RP romance."
Well, look at Travis's face the first time when he asked Jester if he could kiss her. He's beet red.
Yeah.
Travis was embarrassed,
but
and he's not comfortable with it, I don't think. But in this episode,
though, he doesn't like to be embarrassed, but he also doesn't like to be scared, but also likes to be scared. He's a big scaredy cat, but he will complain and be like,
Do you think he kind of inside likes it?
Yeah, like, because they have to have discussions about what's okay and what's not in their campaign, and this whole first arc is creepy as fuck, and Travis is like squeamish to the whole thing, but I think he likes it.
I want to point this out before we continue. Do you notice that sometimes when Marisha gets into Laudna and she's like, Travis like leans back, he's just like, nope.
Nope, I'm noping right out of this conversation.
Checks out for a second.
Yeah. But I think he likes it. I think he likes to be scared. So what if, RPing romance is embarrassing for him, but what if he kind of likes it?
Which I don't know. I really don't.
Possible.
But it was really surprising to me when Chetney was like, hey, Fearne, are we going to do this or not? Caught me completely by surprise.
Yeah, I was fully, I mean, you could look at our past videos. I was fully 100% convinced that the reason Travis made a character like this was so that he could not be romanced. And then he fucking initiated it.
And how did Chetney turn 400 years old?
Yeah, I know.
He's
but
been
wasn't
200
he's
years
been
old.
200.
Right? He's been 200
right?
years old for the whole
Like, we're not
campaign, and
just
now he's 400?
misremembering that, right?
I don't know. But anyway, so just like I think Sam said, you guys been playing chicken this whole part. Who's gonna flinch first? And it seems like Travis flinched.
Yeah, because he slept through it.
Yeah, he's like Chetney slept through it.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't want this to go on anymore.
Yeah.
But then Fearne woke up at 2:59 and was waiting outside the door.
And then was just like, okay,
All right
going
then.
back to bed.
The end of the episode. Well, that was technically the end, but
Yeah.
the original end before they did the epilogue. I don't know what the hell Imogen was thinking.
Imogen reminds me a lot of Caleb.
A little bit.
Remember Caleb
yeah.
looking into the
dodecahedron.
Yes,
That.
that thing. Mm-hmm. Because he was impatient and
Uh-huh.
couldn't wait to identify it, and so he just looked into it. That's the feels I got with Imogen. She
Yeah, a
was
little
so
bit.
impatient, and the fact that it was familiar, she just couldn't help herself.
Now, I don't remember her picking up the rock, but I just went with it, because I did something that I missed during the combat. Her picking up the rock.
Oh, the stone?
Yeah, the stone.
Oh, yeah. She pulled on it, and then she used telekinesis to help her pull it out. And the telekinesis was the clutch, because instead of rolling a strength, she could roll with her spellcasting, ability.
Okay.
And then she was able to pull it out, and I think the DC was 20, and she got a 20. It was really close.
Okay.
It was like a whole thing.
I do remember that a little bit
Yeah.
now, because it was late and I was in and out,
Mm-hmm.
dozing off during the combat when we were watching it last night. I do remember that vaguely now.
Yeah.
But man, but basically we ended on a cliffhanger. What is the deal with this stone and Imogen?
I do think it's
Is it
going to
gonna
be
have an influence?
a slow thing. I
Yeah.
think you're going to have to fail so many checks in order for it to be
Yeah,
able to
probably.
do stuff. But I think it'll be kind of because my brain can't think of anything else, and I know there's other examples in the show, but the eyes. When Caleb
Okay, yeah.
and Bo got one eye, they could see in the dark, and Lucian could communicate with them. And then when they got the second eye, something else. I feel like it's gonna be something like that. You're gonna have to fail so many wisdom throws and after or whatever throw. I forget what throw. But you're gonna have to fail a saving throw, and there'll be an effect from that. And then if you fail another one, there's gonna be more effects, and it's just gonna be compounding.
Yeah. Yeah, that's almost, for sure. I think
Yeah.
that's going to work. But man, I was just like, no, Imogen, don't do it.
But
Don't
I'd like
do
to
it.
know what the negative effect for her one fail is going to be.
Yeah. They're still pretty low level characters.
Yeah. That's,
So how bad can the impact be? Because as a DM, I wouldn't want to completely derail a player character that early in a campaign.
yeah.
So I can't imagine
But
the
it could
effects are going to be
like
too
a-
bad.
Yeah, it could be like a Percy level thing.
Yeah.
With the demon in the gun.
Yeah.
That I forget his name.
I keep wanting to call him Ajax, but that's
yeah,
not it.
the effects were very minimal up until the Briarwood arc. So all
Yeah.
through Craghammer, you almost didn't even see it. It was hardly
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
So it could be something like that.
And one more thing that I just remembered. I want to talk about FCG for a second. He had an intervention.
Yes.
How badly hurt was FCG in that combat?
I think FCG was almost down, but I don't
Were they?
think that has anything to do with it.
I don't think so either.
No. And can we just point out how the two people who are constantly throwing themselves in danger and almost dying in literally every fucking fight are the two that had the intervention on him?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Orm and Ashton, are you kidding me?
I don't like that whole thing with FCG and kind of glitching out. I don't remember them getting hurt that bad, so there's definitely some other stuff going on.
FCG's gone down and did not act like that.
Right.
So I don't think it has anything to do with health. I think it has to do with other things that we haven't picked up on.
Because they did talk about
because-
Cyclopses in this episode.
Yeah. He asked about the Cyclops, but he was glitching while asking about that. So I don't know
Yeah.
if that started the glitch or if they were already glitching prior to that. I also think it might have to do something with recall of, gosh, I don't even know how many episodes ago where Matt said FCG take 4 points.
I remember that.
Yeah, I wonder if he's taken more points since then, and like the points add up, or if it's, you know, if it resets or whatever, and like maybe they're doing it quietly or something.
But they were glitching out pretty hard.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Sometimes to the point where like it was hard to tell if Sam was stuttering as he was talking,
Yeah.
or if FCG was glitching.
That
was really hard to
when,
tell.
When FCG first started asking the Green Seekers about the Cyclops, I thought that was Sam just stuttering, because sometimes he does that when he's playing FCG. That's just a thing that he does. So I thought he was just stuttering, having a hard time figuring out how to play this character that's so radically different than his other two characters. And it took me probably halfway through his sentence for me to be like, oh fuck, that's FCG glitching. Shit.
There was so much in the back half of this episode.
Oh yeah.
Like that first half. Well, the first like half of the episode before the break, and then like 15 minutes after the break was basically combat.
Yeah.
Combat and escaping the cavern, and then it was all RP, and there was so much, and oh my gosh, it was amazing.
Yeah.
This is one of my favorite episodes, and in general, I'm not a huge fan of super long combat.
Same.
That was great combat.
It was really good combat. Like, I still had some issues because sometimes I have a hard time focusing when, even in our own games. Like, I had to get spinner rings because I have a hard time focusing on what people are doing when it's not my turn. And I kind of enter a zone out even when watching them, and then I miss stuff. So I have to kind of keep my brain engaged. But even so, that was a really good combat. And I didn't have to do it as much as I usually do when they do combat.
Just the mini, the battle map, the board.
Yeah.
It was, everything was amazing about that combat. And then just
And I think it's just the way that they like, for the most part, they all know exactly what they're going to do.
yeah.
There's not a whole lot of hesitation where you're waiting for somebody to make a decision. And when they do stuff, they don't just be like, okay, so I cast Eldritch Blast. No, she's like, I take the acid that they fling on me and I gather it and fling it in Eldritch Blast.
Okay. It was that first hit when they took like 20 points of damage. I thought, oh man, somebody's gonna die for sure. And then
Yeah.
daylight.
Yeah.
All right. So I think that's everything we have. I know we're kind of all over the
Yeah,
place
a little bit.
in this video. If there's anything you think we should have mentioned that we didn't, let us know down in the comments. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please let us know by dropping a like on it and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already.
And thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.